Well, Scott Stricklin wrote a statement to the Florida Gator fan base, the Florida Gator Nation, into Gainesville, Florida, where the Gators are at, and yeah, he's bringing back Billy Napier for 2025. Uh, he wrote in a statement, basically, in endorsing Billy Napier to come back this season. I'm gonna pull up that statement right now, so that way I don't misquote him. But yeah, he's coming back for 2025, which you're not really surprised that he would fight for Billy Napier to stay because, well, Scott Strickland is the one who hired Dan Mullen. Scott Strickland uh, hired Mike White, and then after firing both of those coaches, he's the one who hired men's basketball coach Todd Golden and then Billy Napier afterward, and Billy Napier. So these two coaches, Todd Golden are probably more so Billy Napier because it is college football at the end of the day, are tied to him having a job in Gainesville as the athletic director. And when you are fired as an athletic director, that's only one shot. You only get one shot to make sure you do a pretty good job, um, do a pretty good job in that department. I'm gonna have to Sorry about this. I'm gonna have to pull up on my phone now because my internet just went out on my computer. So excuse me 1 second. Okay, here it is. Here's the here is the statement by Scott Strickland. Gator Nation, I wanted to let you know that Billy Napier will continue as head football coach of the Florida Gators. As we've seen these past several weeks, the young men on this team represent what it means to be a Gator. Their resolve, effort, execution evident in their performance and growth each week, building a foundation that promises greater success next season and beyond. UF's commitment to excellence and a championship caliber program is unwavering. In these times of change across college athletics, we are dedicated to a disciplined, stable approach that is focused on long term sustained success for the Florida Gators, recruits, and fans. I am confident that Billy will meet the challenges and opportunities ahead. Yeah, because he's done it up to this point. We will work alongside him to support any changes needed to elevate Gator football. As college athletics evolves, the UF is committed to embracing innovation strategy, ensuring the Gators thrive in today's competitive landscape. Gator Nation has remained strong, showing up game after game to stand with our team. The loyalty creates an incredible environment that inspires our players to compete with heart and determination. Now I call on all of Gator Nation to continue to stand behind Billy and his dedicated team while we work together to build a championship program. Go Gators, Scott Strickland, Athletics Director. So there is your statement. There he is. He has 100% endorsed Billy Napier coming back for next season. Now, here is the pros and the cons of it. Sorry about this. I'm looking for something. Here's the pros and cons of it. On one hand, it at least gives you some clarity on what your future should have in 2025 for recruits, in the sense that recruits don't know if Billy Napier will even be the head coach next year. So I think by announcing that Billy Napier will come back in 2025 could at the very least make it easier for them to determine whether or not he will be at least there for their freshman year. Maybe he won't be there for their sophomore year and junior year, but you know what? In today's college football, when you consider how everything changes with transfer portals and players more willing to be released out of their not NIL, I'm sorry, their LOIs, their national letters of intent to seek a program elsewhere. It doesn't really guarantee that those recruits will be happy that Billy Napier is staying or going. I also don't think that announcing Billy Napier returning as the head coach next season will make it easier for the team in 2025, because quite frankly, you get the same schedule basically as you did this year. You get the same SEC schedule, except being that all the home SEC games that you play this year will be on the road next year, and all the road games that you played against SEC opponents this year will be at home in the Swamp next year. So Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Texas in a couple of days. That was all those games are on the road. You'll have them at the Swamp next year, and you will still get Florida State and Miami in addition to those same SEC conference games. Except this time you'll be playing Miami on the road and FSU at home. So the schedule is basically the same. And another issue that I have with Billy Napier coming back is what are the signs that this year will be better next year will be better than this year and it will be better than it was the two previous seasons. Right now, you're teetering on 400. You're teetering on a third consecutive losing record under Billy Napier, fourth for your history for your program, and it will be the first time Florida will have losing records for 4 consecutive years since I think it was like the late 40s. I have to do some research to confirm that. Everything that I've been saying about Billy Napier, and it's gonna sound like I'm beating a dead horse, still remains true. He still has a bad feel for offensive play calling, and I'll get to that later. Special teams still makes critical mistakes that cost you games, or at the very least are a big contributor to you losing football games. Georgia this past Saturday with the missed snap in the third quarter. That was basically the backbreaker for the Florida Gators. The miss having 12 men on that late first half field goal against Tennessee. 3 points that could have prevented you from needing overtime to win that game against Tennessee, which you eventually lost. I mean, the defense has gotten better, and obviously DJ Lightweight getting on the field has been a big boost for Billy Napier to keep a job, because obviously DJ Lightweight and Billy Napier are kind of attached at the hip, but if they are not, it's more so Billy that would lose out than it would be Lagway. So that at the very least there have been some positives in this season, and not just the defense improvement and DJ Lagway, but also you have Aiden Mizell, who's played well. The running backs look pretty damn good, and I think this year proves that Florida was pretty what Florida fans had been saying throughout the preseason was that Florida was good at the running back position even without Trevor Etienne. I'm not saying that the running back room is better without Trevor Etienne, but this year has shown that the running backs are still pretty good because Montreal Johnson is still Montreal Johnson, and we have liked what we've seen from Jaden Ball, and Jacoby Jackson showed out in the game against Georgia. And the other running back, Trail Webb, he hurt himself, but Florida fans liked what they saw from him before that happened. So Florida is good at the running back spot. I like our receivers. I like the connection DJ Lagway has developed with his receivers on the deep ball. The offensive line has gotten better. I have to give him credit there. The offensive line looked much better than what it did last season. The first 3 games, they looked pretty bad, but they have tightened things up for the most part. And they have been getting some pretty damn good push. A lot of young defensive players are getting their reps in and are looking good. So I'm not going to say that it's been all bad this year. And, of course, you did break the losing streak to Kentucky, and you were able to shut up UCF fan base. So, and I guess the season is still not all the way over. You still have some games left to be played. So I'm not going to be all negative. What I will say is I just don't see a scenario in which Florida will be much better in 2025. They may go from a 6-win football club to a 7 or 8 win football club, and in year 4 you need to be flirting with in my opinion, a 9 or 10 win record if you're going to be at Florida in your 4th year, considering all the time that Billy Napier has had here. He's had full transfer portals, he's had recruiting classes, and I just don't agree with this move to bring Billy Napier back. And not only because of the losing record that he has, but if you go to his recruiting class per 247 Sports, Florida's recruiting class is ranked 51 in the nation. That's behind Utah, UCF, Boston College, and Florida State. Florida State is 1-8 this year, and they have a higher ranked recruiting class than you do. Now, it won't stay there for long because Florida's projected to take one of their commitments, four-star quarterback Tramel Jones from Florida State. But considering Mike Norvell has evaluated DJ Lagway, has signed off on not DJ Lagway, I'm sorry, has signed off on DJ Uyunglele, Brock Glenn, and Luke Cromano, or Cromana, however you say his name. Apparently, Mike Norvell is not that good at evaluating quarterbacks. So I don't know. I'm not sure if bringing Tramel Jones is that really that big of a sign to me. If it would have been an offensive lineman, then good, because Florida doesn't have any offensive line recruits right now. You're 51 in the nation recruiting wise, even behind the 1-8 Florida State Seminoles. That's terrible, and that's inexcusable. And in my opinion, Scott Stricklin, you and Billy Napier should definitely be on the hot seat this year. This year, in my opinion, both of your seats were relatively hot. Next year, they're on fire. Not even hot, they're on fire. And if Billy Napier, in my opinion, does not go 8-4 next year, he should not come back in 2026. Quite frankly, I think maybe he should go 9-3. You should demand a 9-3 season in order to demand him come back next year, to come back for 2026, because this is your fourth year now, and no more of this progression reports, or players are elevating at certain positions. You should have all that figured out after 2 seasons. You are in year 3. Wins and losses should have been the bottom line this season, but evidently for Scott Stricklin, it's not, and he's just really trying to hold on to his job as the athletic director at Florida. That's really all this is, more so than the signs that you actually see from Billy Napier. And it is sad that the University of Florida, the standards of this program have gone down tremendously. We fired Will Muschamp after one bad season in 2013. We fired Jim McElwain after one bad season. We fired him only after one bad season. Now we may have 3 bad seasons in a row, and we're going to keep this head coach. But the other head coaches who have done more than him couldn't get that same break. Even Will Muschamp, yeah, you didn't go to an SEC title under Will Muschamp, but I think he did more than what Napier has done. Will Muschamp didn't lose to Tennessee or Kentucky. Will Muschamp didn't lose on the road at Vandy. Will Muschamp beat Florida State once, and it wasn't a bad Florida State team like this one is. It was actually a top 10 Florida State team. And he beat Georgia. So in my opinion, Will Muschamp deserved more deserved a 5th year at Florida, way more than Napier deserved a 4th year. But when you have an athletic director, Scott Stricklin, who's not in tune with the fan base, who doesn't live up to their expectations, who does not understand their expectations, and does not get the demands of what it takes to be an athletic director at the University of Florida, this is what happens. Look at all these teams that are ahead of Florida right now recruiting-wise. Utah, UCF, Boston College, Florida State, Arizona State, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech, NC State, Minnesota, Houston, West Virginia, Arizona, Kansas State, Iowa, Pittsburgh, Stanford, Syracuse, UCLA, Mississippi State, Baylor, Duke. This is ridiculous. Florida used to blow these teams out recruiting-wise, even if they did have a 7-5 year. What happened to that? What happened to teams used to fear going into the swamp to play a football game? They don't do that now. And they're not going to next year. It's just a shame, man. It's really a shame how far this program has fallen, and that how Scott Stricklin has contributed to that, and for some reason is given another chance at this. The Florida Gator the University of Florida institution really needs to tell them, all right, man, we're gonna bring your boy back, but if he doesn't go 8-4 or 9-3 this season, your time here is done, because you've hired a bad football coach in Napier, a bad basketball coach in Mike White. You gotta go. Now, Florida will be on the road at Texas this upcoming Saturday. Right now it's Thursday, late afternoon. If they went on the road at Texas, which I don't expect them to, with a third-string quarterback, maybe if DJ Lagway is able to play in this game, they have at least a puncher's chance. What they say in combat sports, they have a puncher's chance, but I don't see it. Florida's 4-4 right now with Texas. LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State. Ah, they'll be lucky to win 2 of those. They'll dismantle Florida State because Florida State's garbage. But any one of these 3 victories right here, it will be a miracle. And maybe Billy Napier will finally win a bowl game. After taking him 3 years to do it, when the 3 previous head coaches before him did that in their sleep. But all right, Billy Napier, you're coming back for 2025, and in my opinion, I'm not accepting anything. I am not accepting anything less then you know what? I'll say it. I'm not expecting anything less than a 9-3 record. Anything underneath that, you're gone.